Your line is now unmuted.
Okay, I'd like to get a mic check this morning. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully summer is finding its way into your area. It certainly has this week in the southern central plains. Everybody hear me? Good morning, Martin. Super. The any meeting procedures are still messed up. We're working with any meeting to see if we get a solution, but so from my end, I have to open the generic any meeting room, shut it down. Then I get to open the CNFT Market Center meeting room. So we still have a couple of issues with that to work out, but we are making progress. We figured out how to work around that particular problem. So hopefully we don't experience the you don't experience the inconveniences that you have had up to this point. Okay, an interesting market. Yesterday in the options market, the play was calls and liquidation of puts. So the selling, we talked about 125, a pretty round number. Resting limit order buy against 125 in the 10-year would be a good structural play. Just because of the fact it was 125, a pretty round number, and the markets are heavily oversold. And they got stops below 125 with a 24.31.5 print, and the market reversed and is now trading at 18. So just looking at where we are right here, we've got this D period high at 28. We've got an E period high at 25. We've got a F period high at 22.5. So we've got a G period high at 21. So this 20 to 28 area is pretty good resistance. So we know there's stops above 21. So the first getting stops above this, leaning against 24, I think is a reasonable play. So we're going to put 23 to 27, sell 1, and then 31 to 03 for sell 2. And we'll see what happens. I think short covering before tomorrow's non-farm payroll number is going to be what drives the market today if we don't break early in the session. Obviously, we got to get through 21 to get there. So we're going to put a question mark at 25 right here. I mean at 20 even. But I think the market is strong enough, and there'll be enough pressure opening up. Looks like we'll open above yesterday's close that some people will cover their shorts, and that should get us to the 21 level. But if it doesn't, right now structurally, if you're selling, you'd be selling 20.5. So I think we might get a little bit higher. On the buy side, we got this X period low at 12, got the W period low at 7, and we've got the V period low at 5. So this 4 to 12 area is pretty good support, and getting stops beneath yesterday's lows, we should start seeing sell stops in the 11 area or beneath. So I'm going to start out at 5 to 9. It may take a 13 to get in. Just don't know. We do have some news to get into. And then in a play for them getting stops below yesterday's lows, 29 to 01. How about the overnight lows? Will be buy 2. So we'll have a question mark at 13. We got a question mark at 20. And hope to do a little bit better, but you never know. Jobless claims right now, 275. That's pretty much the default number. Productivity. Minus 2.9, and that means that manufacturers they either have a ignorant workforce and they're getting clipped, or they got too many people on the job. When you start laying off people, you got big jumps in productivity because you do more with less. Unit labor costs plus 6%. That would suggest that you have a uneducated, unskilled workforce. because they're having to go out and hire people to fill slots. With as many people sitting on the sidelines, that's a little hard to believe. We have a Gallup number that's interesting. It won't get any play, but Gallup's payroll to population. Don't have an estimate for that, but it'll be interesting to see if the how many people have dropped out of the workforce in the past month. And natural gas inventories plus 119. That's probably a little on the high side. Can be done, but usually they run these things at about plus 100 BCF each month as they rebuild. So jobless claims is number one. And once that's out of the way, we'll probably get back to speculation about what's going to happen in Greece. There is no deal in Greece. Both sides are hopeful that one of the others will blink. But Germany's basically said, you in the EU, you're not getting anything until you start doing what you told us that you're going to do previously. Austerity will remain in effect. And you're going to have to make some big changes because we're not going to pay for your lifestyle anymore. And, you know, we kind of laugh because of how low the retirement ages are in Europe. But why should a German who gets to retire at 60 subsidize a Greek who generally gets to retire at 55? And that's where the rub is. Politics of envy, I think it's called, right? So the market will be subject to news spikes during the day. From the deal is tomorrow. They have to repay 388 million euros to the IMF tomorrow. I'm not saying that it will be done because they're pretty adept at kicking the can down the road, but that's what's looming over the markets. Okay, taking a look at the 30-year, we're going to be a little more aggressive on the sell side because of the potential of this contract to sell, but we're just going to lean against resistance on this one. But if we get through that, this area up in here, this 16 to 20 area, I might be where resistance is. I'm going to go 19 to 23. Because this market has been so oversold that it's very, very easy for it to explode to the upside. We've got volume at 23. We've got an X period low. Look at the range on this at 15. We're currently one. That's a half a point in this half-hour trading time. So 17 to 13 by 1, and we're going to put a question mark right here at 25. So we could deal with just some really, really huge numbers. I mean, if you look at the overnight, 48.18, 51.18. So 50.18 is 2 points. It's been pretty easy for this market to trade 2 to 3 points. So 50.18 would be that next that would be 2 points off the low. And then we'll make 1 to 5 at 49 for buy 1. But the market is extremely oversold. Okay, Don Manning gets back next week. For those of you that are interested in forming a bond group, it'll be informal. It won't be formal. It'll be amongst you all to see what you can develop. But Don's got some great charts and knows how to use them, and I'm sure can aid the way you look at the bond market and help you trade it, but it's not going to be formalized. It'll be up to you all to develop it and make it grow. But I think everybody should have the E-mini, the bond, and either gold or crude on your screens. And one of those three markets, if the E-mini is ever allowed to sell, that could be a really good market. Once again, right now it's It's normally a pretty tough market to trade, but right now it's just kind of in-your-face stuff to trade. They screwing the pooch every way they can. Okay, this 75 area, 77, is an area, just because 1175 is a round number, that I think the market is headed for. We've got a B right here. We've got pretty good support at 75, 77. Then we have had pretty good support at 80, and that's the London low. So 81 to 79 will be buy one. If they do get a deal out of the EU and Greece, gold should rally off of that. Buy two will be in the 72 area. If we break that, 67 is the next stop. Pretty good support down there in the 67, 68 area. On the sell side, 85, 87, it's where resistance is. Pretty aggressive. Then our 90 to 92. And we've got the London low. If the London low holds, I imagine resistance will jump pretty quickly to 90 to 95 area, as opposed to 85 to 90. Okay, the overnight session markets, really a lot of volatility. China's markets were off 6%, then recovered to a positive gain. Wonder who did the buying there. The Bund in Germany almost made it to 1% and then came roaring back. Draghi yesterday said, expect increased volatility in markets, and brother, was he right. The euro has rallied. We're one day away from whatever's going to happen in Greece. So we're at 1324 right now. 1300, 1310 buy one, and 75 buy two. On the sell side, 45 to 55, and then our 75 to 85, where we were last night, but a full point beneath. So it's a huge market, and I mean, don't trade this without stops, but there's a lot of opportunity in this market today. Didn't see any specific news on crude oil overnight. Didn't see that anything was any different than yesterday's, where OPEC rolled over the current deal at 30 million barrels per day in quota. And the fight for market share continues. And it was funny, the news discussions of the OPEC meeting was about solar power, because Saudi Arabia said they're going to become a big player in solar, and of course, you couldn't find a better part of the world to do solar power than in a desert situation. So, especially a full desert. Our American Southwest they call it a tropical desert, because it does have it has 2 rainy seasons as opposed to 1. It'd be probably hard to convince yourself of that driving through it or living through it, but that's the official weather or climatologist's definition of it. Saudi Arabia is a full desert, as would be all of North Africa. Hard to believe 10,000 years ago it was growing the North Africa for Rome, and a lot of people is where a lot of the grains came from. So here we are at 59.71. Yesterday's last rotate, you could just see we've got lower lows, 60.39, 60.24, 60 even, so 60 get 60.24, get through that, I think we can jump up pretty quickly. So we'll make 60, 75, 61. And we got a P shape right now, so this is near resistance. We're going to back it off a little bit for sell 2. On the buy side, 59, 59 and a quarter, and our 58.50. But 60, 60 and a quarter, that allows them to get stops above 60. Okay, the E-mini sold overnight, and it's approaching support. Will it sell today? Tomorrow's non-farm payroll numbers tends to hold all markets, the big markets, in a trading range. So it looks like we've got pretty good support, 95 to the buck, and we have a London high at 12, so resistance will start at 10 where we had this spill. So the issue is resistance 10 to 15 and support 95 to 2100, or is support 2100, 2105 and resistance 2115 to 20. So this is resistance right here, so 9 to 11 is sell 1. And then 14 to 16, sell 2. On the buy side, 2100, 2102, buy 1. And we're going to watch and see what the 50 lot player does besides buy today. The market the last 2 days has turned on what the 50 lot trader has been doing. Jobless claims 276, productivity minus 2.9%, unit labor costs plus 6%. The natural gas inventories at 119 BCF. Focus will be jobless claims. The market will be subject to Greece, EU news spikes. We'll have to see what happens right there. Tomorrow is the deadline for Greece and the EU and the ECB to come to some sort of agreement, and it looks like it's going to go to the wire. Be curious to see how they can kick this can and move it down the road. They'll probably have emergency meetings over the weekend. Anyway, I'll see you as quick as I can back in a bit.